Hello, hello. This is too loud. Much too loud, much too loud, much too loud. Alright, just getting some stuff sorted out. Let me turn this bad boy down. My cat yawning. Alright, so today. Kind of a big thing happening today. And there's not really a great way to go about the timing on this was impeccable, absolutely impeccable. But here, I'll go ahead and switch over. So as you can see, we are not in Godot today. We're in fact in Unity. Now, this has absolutely nothing to do with some of the events that transpired this weekend. I'm not really gonna discuss what happened this weekend regarding that. This isn't really the time or place to talk about that. But the elephant in the room is there was some stuff that happened this weekend involving Godot and some social media managers and blah blah and stuff like that, and it created this whole tizzy. I decided Friday, like probably it was either Thursday or Friday night last week. I made the decision after dealing with some stuff with Godot and running into banging my head into the wall again and again and again and again. I just finally got frustrated. I got sick of using it. So it's purely technical reasons why. What we're going to do is we're going to spend the next 2-3 weeks. I'm going to be really putting my head down. And seeing just how much of the game we can port over to Unity in a reasonable time frame. And I'm going to give myself a time frame, probably like 2 or 3 weeks, and see exactly how much I can do to see if this is feasible. Because if it's going to set me back too far, I'll probably just stick with Godot and deal with some of the stuff that I've been dealing with. But this gives me an opportunity to, since I'm going to have to rewrite a lot of the game, to re-architect some of the bits of the code that were starting to become a bit problematic in interacting with. But yeah, this is purely, it's I made this decision probably I think Thursday night, Friday night. I got everything set up. I was playing around with Unity, trying to relearn some stuff, and was fully prepared to announce today as a surprise to saying, hey, we're moving over to Unity. And then this weekend happened, and I was like, that's awkward. Yes, I assure you, it has absolutely nothing to do with some of the events that happened this weekend. This decision was made before that even happened in the first place. However, we now get the fun of starting from scratch. Also, I think I'm gonna, code was being a pain. I'm probably gonna switch it over back to code at some point, but just for the sake of today, I'm going to use Visual Studio to work to my IDE. I'm gonna use the full Visual Studio and not Visual Studio Code, just because I haven't gotten some tools to work correctly. I feel like every time I have to I'm setting up a new project with extensions of VS Code, it's like a headache. But once I get it working, it's always great. I just don't like the overhead of Visual Studio, and I prefer using Visual Studio Code. But if I gotta use Visual Studio, I'll use Visual Studio. It's whatever. So what we need to do though is we're gonna open up Godot on the side. Nope, not GitHub. We're gonna open up Godot. Actually, I'm gonna push some of these changes. just so that's a thing. I'll need to get version control and set up for this, all that fun stuff, but put you up there. Come on, I want you up on the screen because we're gonna kind of have to. A lot of this is going to be just me transposing code over, and we'll be doing rewrites periodically when necessary. Oops. Player scene. And we're going to open up the scripts. Why are we... I'm going to close this editor for now. Go to workspace. I don't want to close this out. I don't need it. I want to see the... Save all on close all editors. Oh, that didn't do what I wanted to do. Open editors, Explorer. Oh. Okay, what we're gonna do is, oh, there it is. Okay. Bring that down here. Bring up new engine, and we're gonna get to work transposing into Godot, or not from Godot. First things first, we are going to make a folder. We're gonna call this prefabs. Inside this folder, another folder called characters. In here, we're gonna create a new empty game object. Thought there was a way to do that. Oh, prefab. Create new prefab. And we're gonna call this the player. Okay, so we can go back up here. I'm realizing now to probably move you guys probably over here, I guess. And then the chat can honestly, you guys probably don't care too much about. I'll hide this for now. Put myself over the hierarchy. There we go. Universal render pipeline. I don't even know what that is. Settings, scenes, sample scene. Okay. Learning to navigate this again is going to be wild. All right, so we're going to need a new folder. Textures. Create folder. Dev. And then what I want to do is in another I gotta test one that I was using. Assets. So we got a grid that I'm gonna bring over here. A folder, and we're gonna call this characters. And we're gonna bring the old player character into that folder. And then this actually on the filter mode, it needs to be point no filter, so that way it's not. And I think we gotta do the same thing on this guy. Folder. All right, so we're gonna call. So we got a scripts folder. For starters, I was gonna go ahead and drop this guy into scene. There we go, so I can kind of see what's happening here. And that camera needs to zoom in quite a bit. That's, oh wait, it's orthographic, so this doesn't matter. -10. The size is what we gotta change. Okay. So the prefab, we're gonna drag that guy in here too. So the first thing we're gonna need to add to the prefab is a sprite. Sprite renderer. We're gonna drag you in. There he is, the little guy. By all, so now if I open up the actual prefab, there it is. Okay. So let's move this guy. Move this little guy down here onto 0, 0. The grid, I'm gonna make -1. There we go. Let's open up the player script. Okay, so there's a character. Our script, we're going to call this enums. And we're also going to create this is something too I feel like might annoy me over the course of this, but we'll see what happens. So I need another, that's going to be character. And then I need one more script that's going to be the player. Okay, so in the enums, yeah, remember how to do this now. This isn't going to be a mono behavior. It's not going to have a start and an end. Public enum. Do the factions. Some of the factions we had were oops. These. Character. We're gonna have a private, so it's gonna be, this is gonna be serialized field. Private. What is this? A float. Move speed, serialized private floats, private faction. Make this faction. And this will be the faction. I'm gonna set this up in the like basically chunks, and the first things I want to do is get the player working. And the last one is going to be serial. Oh no, that's not private. Right. Will be the default character sprite. There's going to be oh no, we don't do alerted signal, loot drop signal, reanimate signal. I don't know if these are things we're gonna actually need. We'll probably be able to tackle these in a different way, but that's at least something that's in the script. And then for time being, we can get rid of these usings. It extends my, so player now is going to extend character. Now we can get into the meat of things. So for starters, in the player, there is the close menu signal. And then there's also an inventory opened signal. Those are things we can deal with for the time being. Const max hunger. Is 100. Zeppelin. First equals 100. Goblin, I need you to move. Come on. I have a feeling it's the armor component that actually does with the... Where's the armor component? Oh yeah, it's probably a signal then in the player. Armor component, that armor change connect update character sprite. Okay. So what is this even called in opening here? See, this is that's what's going to annoy me. That right there is probably single-handedly going to be a thing that makes me not want to deal with this right now. There's the player. A sprite renderer. I need to get a reference to the sprite renderer. Sorry. Maybe it's just sprite. Character sprite dot get component sprite. Character sprite dot how do I set that? It's not what I want. Okay, so like when we run this, we see nobody. That's actually a thing too I need to do. So where is it? Edit, project settings, domain. Cool. Actually, what I need to do is on this, I need to add the. Oh, this is gonna get so used to get player. Add that on there. Move speed, we're gonna call this 100 for now. None assigned. He's gonna be set to the player. The default character sprite. Be player. Sprite render. Questions. How do I interact with that stuff again? So I've got the sprite renderer. Okay. Okay, cool. So then the character sprite dot sprite is going to equal the default. My character, did I make these? Oh, they're private. Oh, these need to be protected. That's why. Gotta remember how to use those access modifiers. So then, yeah, now if I go back to the player, now I can say geez. Okay. I should know these ones. Why am I blanking on it? Okay. Maybe it's protected. I have to actually. Protected might be what I was looking for. Default character sprites. Expected a. Oh, I accidentally deleted the. That would be why. So now when I play it, I should see the sprite. There he is. Now what I need to do is let's grab my other script I was messing with earlier. All right, so we're gonna call this guy. What is his return? A float. We got floats, local horizontal, floats, local vertical. That is another. Okay, so that's another guy we're gonna need. Is the rigid body. Body 2D. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the, we're going here, rigid body equals get component rigid body. Require component. That's how I do it. Require component unity. Okay, so that means now in the character, every character is going to be require component type of rigid body 2D. Is that now, since I have this script attached to the player, wish I could still see everything. Oh, I moved everything over here. Put you guys back over here. Okay, so now when I pop back over here, if I remember right, it should like say like creating missing rigid bodies for player and player. Oh, it's so it just makes it, which is kind of cool. Okay, but oh, and it literally just added it to it. That's really cool. Okay. So we're gonna turn gravity off because we do not need that. And then in the script, I think I did do get access raw. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so we should just be able to run it and move around. I don't know why is it pulling down on it? Okay, so for some reason it's dragging down. I don't think it's got anything to do with my keyboard. Why is it? Why? That's weird. It was definitely in my when I was testing earlier. It was all I had to do was set it to 0. It was dragging or wasn't dragging down. Yeah, that's really annoying. Why are you doing that? Okay, let's try it now. 0. Save the component. In fact, let's apply to all. No, you're still falling. What? Okay, we're gonna reboot. Okay, that is really strange. Also, why did you not open in preferences? Oh, the player. There we go. I don't. It just. Is there a new version of? I swear, are we on 2024? I don't even remember. Okay. Oh, might help if I do that. Put it in the right order. That's weird. That's so weird. Because literally, because you guys saw, if I open up the old player. I was just testing some stuff. New vector 2. Was it doing it without these in here? Perhaps. Why? Okay, so that's not what I wanted. Did I close the... I closed the... Okay, so the problem is I'm getting a input from this. Wait, hold on. So that means, let me check something here. There's clearly an error in this one. What changed? Suddenly getting input from, because it definitely wasn't doing that yesterday. We good? We're good? There we go. Let me make sure on stream we're good. Yeah, it looks like we're good. Okay. So it's nothing I'm doing. Oh, god damn it. Something in here somewhere is giving this stuff like an input. I want to both of these. What did I just open? Let's test. Okay, so something with my steering wheel was being weird. Okay. All right, so that is that. So we got the character moving around. I mean, camera can be part of the player. So now when we run, the player will just. So we're gonna actually pull all of this stuff out into a. There's a way that I could turn this into its own class. All right, so I'm gonna grab all this garbage out. Oops. because one of the other things we're going to want to do is actually check the so we want to get the mouse position. So what we'll do here is we're going to do local, or it's going to be var local mouse position equals camera dot main dot screen to world point to be input dot mouse direction or mouse position. I'm pretty sure that returns a vector 3. Is there a... Is there a 2D version? Okay, so I just get it, and then, which is that's gonna be fine. It's gonna be a vector 3. Then it's gonna be okay. So if local dot mouse pos is less than the how do I get how do I get self, or is it self dot position? Oh, it might be, how do I get, you see how to get self position. Transform dot position. Transform dot position dot x. So it's going to be less than that. All right. I swear I write C# at work, but for whatever reason, since I'm doing my game dev right now, in my head I still have Godot in my head, and so I'm like, all the rules aren't like working. And actually, in all seriousness, I don't need to do that because it's just gonna be so this is gonna be the character sprite. That's gonna be this, yeah, character sprite. Character sprite dot flip on the y-axis equals true, else character sprite dot flip y equals false. So what that'll get us to do now is expect a semicolon. Ah, man, these semicolons are killing me. Where did I forget the semicolon? All the way up there. Oh, okay. So it was that. That's fine. All right. So now when we're on this guy, I can run around. My sprite flips around back to the way that was. Everything's great. Everything's good. Cool. It's been an hour, I think. It's being on stream is gonna slow this down a lot. That's why I'm gonna dedicate a lot of time off stream to doing this conversion. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. Okay. That's cool. We're making progress. Oh my god. Are you serious? What is doing this? I killed. Turn off Logitech G and out unplugging. I've never had this steering wheel interfere with me like that before. Which is annoying, because I don't want to unplug the thing all the time. I need to find this. So, oh, I didn't want to close that window out. Okay. Oh my god, this is so frustrating. Okay, like disable this for the time being. Like, how do I controller settings? The problem is every time if I need to figure out a way to disable that while I'm working. Because the problem is every time I unplug that thing and I plug it back into my computer, it can screw with my settings. Which I guess for the time being we're just gonna plug it. God, all of my hardware sucks. It's so easy for this. If this thing unplugs, joystick can disconnected. G29 racing. See, it recognizes it. Edit. Preferences. Is there a way I can see this? I didn't know there's visual script. Actually, I did know there was visual scripting. See input manager. Project settings input manager. Yeah, that's frustrating, but there it is right there, and I guarantee it's gonna work. It'll work fine. Oh, it's, but it's not even plugged in. It's not even plugged in. Let me restart. Oh my god, this is frustrating. It's the first day using it. We'll get these bugs sorted out eventually. There we go. Everything's fine. All right. So what was it that we were doing? So we just got done flipping it. Let's save, load. Player death. So we need a weapon component now, is what's happening. Weapon component. It's inherited from anything. Okay, cool. Oh, geez, no, I don't want you up. Ah, come on. Really? Okay. This is jobs window. Layout. 2x3. That's not what I wanted. Core split. No, that's not what I want. Oh, probably default. There we go. Hit scripts. Create a new folder. These are going to be our components. So inside here, we're going to create a new C# script, and this is going to be called the weapon component. And it is once again, why can't you remember your shit? Preferences. Edit. Project settings, external. External tools. Save. Okay, whatever. Open this. So there's like header groups I know I can do. Header. Header. Sprites. If I do like say, okay, so this is going to be a sprite. Or this will be serialized field weapon. No. Sprite renderer. Weapon underscore sprite. That. Back over to Unity. Right, okay. Okay, so what happens if I drop... oh, not that one. Okay, now if I put the... I'm gonna put the headers in line like that. Will this put them in all in their little thing that I can... No, it does. Okay. Is that really seriously what I have to do? Make a... Is the okay? So the design thing. I'm trying to remember how this works. Is it would I like? Is now like am I making the prefab of like? So if I go in here and I open this prefab, create High Zeppelin. So now, like when I go back to the scene, player has a weapon component, and the weapon that might be what I'm actually trying to do. Zeppelin, I need you to chill. Lay down. Because then I guess what's happening in the player then is I'm going to have a private weapon component. Weapon component. And I have to serialize this though. Because then over in the engine, if I open up the actual player weapon component, or the player component, I can click the player. And I can drag this weapon component there. Okay. Zeppelin. Hey. Zeppelin. Oh, God. Okay. Because now what I'm considering now is if I do something like, say, a eye weapon component. Not, I mean, the amount of behavior. We're going to be interface, eye weapon component. That's going to have a void test, not return anything. Eye weapon component. Public void test. Bug.log. Hello. Public void other test. Oh. Then now in the player, instead of having a weapon component, I'd have an eye weapon component. I can go back over here. Player. That doesn't work that way. Now when we hop back over here, it does have the weapon component again, so I can't actually. Okay, fine. So we trash that. Go back here. Weapon component. Weapon component does not need to. Player. Right. If get button down, fire, weapon component dot test. Button fire is not set up. Okay. Project settings. I thought that was a horizontal. Oh, fire 1. Okay. The console. There, I'm firing. Okay, now what I really would like to do is prefab inspector drop downs. So, okay, so if I do a organize variables into drop downs on inspector. Oh, who is it? Oh, it's Chris. How's it going?
Buddha Games just rated with 8 viewers.
We've done things, and by things, I've managed to get my guy to walk around, and the sprite flips around. It's been a lot of figuring out how to use the using the editor again. And also, okay, I don't know what's wrong with me. I literally spend all day writing C# code at work. So this shouldn't be an issue, but for whatever reason, I think when I'm now working on my game, I have in my head, oh, I'm working on my game. I'm not working like at work. So all of the like syntax rules and stuff like that for C# suddenly get thrown out the window for me, and I keep writing as if I'm in Godot. So I keep missing semicolons. I keep writing things in in snake case. It's a whole thing, and I'm writing the way I want to write. Like even right here, there's an instance where I did it like how you do it in Godot. And the thing is like I said, I spend all day writing C#, so it's not like this is new syntax to me. It's just for whatever reason, I get off work and my brain immediately goes to GD script mode now, and I just completely forget how to write C#. Yeah, the plan is I'm going to spend 2 or 3 weeks. I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to really, really work, and I'm going to see how much of this I can port over to Unity. At the end of those 3 weeks, if I don't have like a significant portion of this game rewritten, I'm going to throw it out and I'm going to go back to Godot, because I don't want this project to like set me back, especially with how close I was to a playtest. So if I can't get this done like quickly, we're going to throw it out, get back to work, just use Godot. It'll be fine. I can get over the issues I've had with Godot in the past. But if it does work, I wasn't using C# in Godot. I was using GD script. So I do, even if I had written it in C# in Godot though, I would have had to do a lot of rewrite though because of the change in library. But I mean, I've got my code from, oh, where'd it go? Like I have my Godot code right here and up. So I'm literally just kind of looking up there, seeing what I wrote, and I'm just transposing it. So which is why I don't think this will take super long until I get to a lot of the game stuff. The weird thing is I just have to kind of do this in like a weird order, because like I can't like completely rewrite my player character until like a bunch of different components get written. And so right now we're kind of at the beginning steps where I'm kind of playing with some things, trying to decide how I want to architecture this. Because the beauty of doing this swap over to Unity and not having to rewrite my code base is a lot of the old stuff that I wrote that wasn't architected really well, and it's kind of been a pain to deal with. I can now rewrite and make it a lot easier to work with. But so I think for the next couple weeks, my stream schedule might slow down a bit, just because I want to focus on getting this done, and doing this while I stream is kind of annoying and it slows me down a lot. All right, so like so I'm wondering if let's get rid of this, get rid of this. I'm gonna have to probably oh wait, no, I know how I was gonna do this. Because like now I have to oh, these need to be private. I want these private. Oh god, I love having access modifiers now too. So I want these to be private, but I need them to be accessible in the editor, because I could create these dynamically on the fly, but honestly it's probably easier if I also, Unity devs out there, this threw me when I first started, when I switched back on like Friday, when I was messing with this. What are you guys upset about? player update sprite on line 52. What are you upset about on line 52? Character sprite. You should all be fine. This loading domain thing. When I edit a script in here, so for example, I'll just do like private var or fine, private ints, whatever. I save this off. When I go back over to the editor, it does this reloading domain thing. It's been a long time since I've used Unity, so I could be wrong. I don't remember that being a thing. And what concerns me is because I know when it's like when I edit my code, blah blah and stuff, and I come back over to Unity, it's like compiling and stuff. What concerns me is how long could that get, because that alone could like actually make things annoying if I'm having to wait for that to run all the time. Because like there's a way to turn off that reload domain thing when you ran the game too, which that was something I turned off immediately. But I just don't remember that, and it's kind of concerning me since it already kind of takes a few seconds to do. So what was I doing? Oh yeah, I need to go back over here because I need the weapon component. Can I not open the component from there? Or the prefab from there? Prefab. What also is kind of getting me is I don't know if I can build it. I'm trying to pivot myself to like working in Unity instead of in Godot, and I'm trying to figure out how to construct some of these things. Which also like that's the other big thing that's gonna get me is if I could just like, if I have to completely come up with new solutions for some things, that's going to slow me up, and I don't know. So far, I'm loving being in Unity again. I loved Godot. It was a cool engine, but there's something about Unity that just feels like home to me. If I add a sprite square, right? Oh, so that's a prefab of a sprite renderer. Okay. So you're going to be the... components. Oh my god, Zeppelin, come on, come on, there you go. Sprite render. Okay, so then if I can do that, okay, so I can construct this that way. Yeah, I never used C# in Godot because I never got it to work. Like, I don't even, and when I did get it to work, it just felt, it was like weird and like didn't fully, like it's, I know it's supported, but to me, it just didn't feel like completely there yet. And it was just easier to use GD script. Okay. So let's now, in my textures, bring in, let's do a new folder. Weapons. Let's bring in a weapon from go projects, action game, or items, weapons, do a pistol. Let's bring this guy into here. Hey Fev, how's it going? Apply all that. Okay. So now let's I'm in this weird limbo state right now. After working on this for 4 days, I'm kind of like, I'm still not certain if it's gonna work or not. So how do I get a reference to that? And then, so the player. I need this sorted differently. Is there a different way to search open log? Oh, that does what I want. Oh, that's not what I want. Oh, that's even less of what I want. Okay, how do I, there was a way that I could adjust what this did. I'll have to figure that out later. Okay, so let's just go back to the prefabs. I guess I can always search. The player prefab. It's going to temporarily have this guy in it. The weapon component. Sprite renderer. Weapon. I bring the Tokarev or the. I brought that guy in. Okay. It looks like we're gonna have to scale this bad boy down by half like we did before. And then the weapon component's gonna come down. Just can I move you, please? Come on. All right, there. I'm gonna have to scale this stuff up so big too, because like dealing in thousandths is not ideal. Okay, so what I can do then is make this none. So in the player script, for the time being, I'm just gonna grab a serialized field. I don't. The auto thing is killing me too. Private. do I get just an actual... Wait to render. I need to look at the return types here. Sprite. Okay, so this is just a sprite. And we'll just call it test weapon for now. Because then what I can do is I'll get the weapon component is going to equal get component weapon component, and then the weapon component dot that's right, because I made it private. Set weapon sprite then, so we can do the weapon sprite dot sprite is equal to sprite. In theory, now the player should have a, where did I put that? Oh, I expected a thing somewhere. What did I forget? Oh, weapon component dot set weapon. We're gonna send it the test weapon. Just to see, you know, just to see how this works. Weapon index is, oh yeah, we don't need this anymore. Oh, yeah, we don't need that guy anymore. That would be the last one that we're working on. Okay, so now it should compile. There it is for the test weapon. So I'm going to bring that guy up, grab the mackerel, run this. Quick reference not set to an instance. Player starts. Component dot get component weapon component. That's right. Because I have to set that. And it's already there. That should be fine. I have the macro sprite, the weapon component, drawing. Okay. The weapon component, sprite.sprite to the okay. Once I figure out, like, I feel like there's going to be this thing where I figure out how to do something and I knock out a massive chunk of code. And then I'm going to get to something weird and I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. And I'm going to knock out a massive chunk of code. So like for the instance here, I got to figure out like before I really build up the weapon component, I want to make sure like I'm doing these little bitty parts. So like, okay, so weapon component has set weapon. In the weapon component, there is a public void set weapon that's taking in a sprite. And I am passing in a sprite of test weapon, which I do have. The player has... That's why. Now we can see the gun. Cool. Knocking out easy things first. So like now that I got the weapon, you know, I'm drawing the weapon dynamically. I got to figure out how to get, or I guess I'm not drawing it dynamically. I'm loading in data into it. I got to figure out how to like, how I want to reference that stuff. I don't remember how to do that offhand. But now, since we're drawing the weapon on there, it's now to figure out how to get it to rotate like I was doing before. So Unity, 2D, look at mouse position. Convert mouse position to the world coordinates. And they're getting the mouse position, doing the camera screen to world point, getting the input mouse position. Cool. And then they're taking that. There's like math here, and they're not giving me the math. Okay. Okay, so in the player controller then, get input. The other thing I need to do then is where am I doing the this? Okay, I understand. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna have a float camera distance is equal to the camera dot main dot transform position minus the rigid body. Okay, I don't want the rigid body. I just want the position of the player. What's dot y? Oh, that's probably for the this axis is probably what that's for. Vector 3 mouse position. Actually, these are going to be mouse position. That's going to be the camera.main dot screen to world point. New vector or no. Oh, I understand. Okay, so it is. I do need a new vector 3 because I'm gonna do so I'm gonna do the input.mouse position X. Input dot mouse position Y. And then the camera distance. I need one more paren there. Then I need to get the float local angle radians. And that's going to be mathf dot a tan 2 mouse L dot mouse position dot y minus transform dot position dot y, and it's gonna be mouse or the x minus transform dot position dot x, and then finally we have the float angle, and that's gonna be 180 degrees divided by math f dot pi times the angle radians. And I wish I was smart enough to say that I just busted it out from nowhere, but I totally had a reference right here on the side. This is supposed to be times. So then finally, I'm going to do the weapon component dot the weapon component public void aim weapon I don't need. No. I need to turn off whatever is trying to help me because it's not helpful. So and it's going to float angle. And then the rotate or transform or no. It's going to be the weapon sprite. Weapon sprite dot transform dot rotation equals angle. In weapon underscore angle. And what sucks is this. Is creating a okay. So we got our old friend Quaternions. Quaternion dot Euler Quaternion dot Euler 0, 0, angle. And there we go. So now we just need to have the ability to pass in. So now we also need to check the we gotta check the mouse position and send in like a bool to say like, hey, it's which probably honestly you can probably do that on its own because I think I can just get the mouse position in here. So if input dot mouse position is less than or is less than the transform dot position. On the x-axis. We can do weapon sprites. Oh, this is the one where we have to scale it. Because if I just flip the sprite, I gotta do it for everything, so it's actually gotta scale weird, and I gotta check the math on that. On the Y, so weapon sprite dot transform dot scale local scale equals local scale dot Y equals -0.5. Don't need any of that. The scale of the transform relative to the game object's parents. Cannot modify the return value transform at local scale because it's not a variable. Lossy scale, the global scale of the object read only. How do I set the scale through code? Okay. Interesting. That's gonna mess with things because in here they're adding a vector to it. Scale change. Okay. I'll be right back. I gotta run to the bathroom quick. Now we can cuss and say naughty things. Yeah, I don't care. Swear all you want in chat. Okay, so So where I'm concerned on right now is the fact that if I can't just directly set the scale, I like need to I can add a scale change to it. The problem is if I'm checking this in the update, even doing something as like, because I can just easily multiply it by -1, because either it's going to be positive, multiply negative becomes negative, flips, and then if I multiply by negative again, it flips. Problem is if I'm doing this in update and I can only do it that way, it's just going to flip back and forth. Local scale times equals vector 3 dot 1. Can't multiply. I can add. That makes that super annoying. Because obviously I can just flip the sprites, but then I have to flip every single... No, and that won't even work because when I wrap it around to the other side, they're going to flip in place. They're not going to flip with the... Oh, God, that's... I need to actually interact with the thing itself. There's really no way for me to just set the scale. I mean, okay, I guess there's a check. If private bool is flipped. So it's false to start. So if the post position is less than the transform position and not is flipped, I add negative vector 1. No. That's going to do weird things to it still. I need the scale on the X and the Y. So it's actually going to be vector 3, -1, -1, 0. And then else if input dot mouse position. This should work. It's annoying that I have to do it this way, but whatever. Is greater than or equal to transform position dot x and is flipped. We do this, but now we're adding positives instead of negatives. That work first try? Let's find out. What I want to do is zoom in this main camera a bit too to just really see what we're working with here. So if I run this, didn't work. Can I see? Oh, what did I just do? What? What? And it worked the way I thought it would. Okay. Well, on that, so that's not what I expected that happened. So there's a case where it can just, which is why I don't want to add to the scale. Proportions. The local scaling of this is relative to the parent. Well, that's a bit of a roadblock. I'll have to think about that a bit. But on that note, it's almost 5 o'clock. My cats are getting annoying because they're hungry. I should probably head out. I think it was a fairly successful day one of getting this refactor. I realize I need to be a little bit more I'm probably going to extend. I might leave the entire month of October as my refactor month, because I also realize there's a music festival that I'm going to in a couple weeks. That's going to screw with that timeline. So yeah, I think the plan is I'm gonna spend the entire month of October doing this refactor. Come Halloween, we'll sit back, or we'll evaluate the progress I made on this migration and go from there on whether we stick with Unity or go back to Godot. I think it'll be a worthwhile. I think it's gonna be a worthwhile endeavor on seeing if this migration works. Otherwise, we'll flip back over to Godot. I've only got a little bit I gotta do, and we can do a play test. To be completely honest, I should probably do the playtest before I spend the time doing the migration. But actually maybe not, because I don't want to deal with the migration on top of doing bug fixes that people come up with. So yeah, no, we'll stick to the plan. We'll spend the month doing this, evaluate, and go from there. But I will be back again tomorrow for day 2 of the Great Migration Project. And anybody, see there's a couple lurkers in here if you guys are liking what you're seeing. I suppose I could have showed off the game I'm migrating over, but there's stuff down below. You can kind of tell. I think there's stuff down below you can see what we're working on. So yeah, if you like what you're seeing and want to follow the project, go ahead and give me a follow all the social medias, all that fun stuff. And I'll be back at it tomorrow. See you guys.